Yes, in this video, we're going to talk about BASH and PowerShell integration. The good news is that, as you can see from the bottom picture, we're all getting along, finally. So Linux and Windows, they get along, and then we're integrating BASH scripting or command line with PowerShell scripting and command line. And there's no more junior or intermediate level of argument between the Linux users and the Windows users. So in the past, there was always Bash versus PowerShell or PowerShell versus Linux Bash or shell scripting. And there's no more versus. So there's a big cross here on the versus. It's all about integration, how the two shell or interpreters are getting along. And then we're going to discuss that one with born again shell as well as PowerShell. As you can see, the name PowerShell, and most of the junior people were saying, yeah, it is powerful. It has graphical user interface. You can do everything, all the features that you want on Microsoft Exchange and Active Directory and everything that you cannot do it with Bash. You could do it, and then all of a sudden the Bash shell scripting junior or intermediate level would say, no, we could do everything on LDAP, we can do it everything on a lot of other programming languages and application. We could even write something with HPC, supercomputing environment. And there's a lot of integration with the Bash scripting that you can do everything on the fly. You can run top, htop, and everything on the Windows side on command line. You have to do it differently, and then if you run the git process or any argument that people were doing it, to me it was a junior level kind of argument. Please don't just waste your time with argument, and let's see how we integrate the system. So no matter if you're on a Linux platform or a Windows platform, you could get all these applications to work the way you want it. And then that's the integration of Bash and PowerShell together. On this video will be discussed, and the power of both of them when they are integrated and getting along together, it is going to be such a powerful. For example, on the Linux Ubuntu, I installed some of the Microsoft packages for PowerShell on Bash environment, which is on the Linux Ubuntu platform, and then now I can run the tools of PowerShell inside Linux Ubuntu and run whether I want to run PowerShell commands or Bash scripts or combination of both and integrate them. And I'll show you in this video both of them. So this is video is going to be brought to you at my Web University, which is my YouTube channel. And those of you who have subscribed to the channel, I thank you for your subscription and your valuable time watching and liking our videos. I really appreciate that one. But at the same time, please let me know if there's any videos that I have not done or you want me to work on it for you to help you out. I will be more likely seeing it if it meets my user needs and helps them. I will definitely consider that one. But at the same time, please just join so you can get the latest and every video that I post on the website, and then you can watch them online at my channel, which is this channel, YouTube at my Web University. And currently I'm on the videos. So if you go on home, there's a lot of videos. And then if you look at the playlist, here on the playlist, there's a number of playlists, each of them by topic of the whether it's programming language like Linux or C++ or Python programming or shell scripting or operating system, Red Hat, Linux, Ubuntu, Solaris operating system, Windows. I have been discussing it. The latest video that I just posted, there was some of the PowerShell commandlets as well as tutorial number 1 on Git help. And this is video number 3 on the PowerShell subject. But before I want to show you the video number 3, I want to make sure that you understand why integration of PowerShell and Linux together is going to help the developers and the users, everybody because every one of us, when we develop, we either develop on Microsoft platform or a Linux platform. Mostly Linux platform is either Red Hat or Linux Ubuntu or SUSE or Rocky. Any operating system that you're doing it, it is a flavor of Linux. So whether it's um, kind of like Linux Ubuntu distribution Debian or Linux Red Hat, which is distribution Fedora, or Linux Rocky, which is also distribution Fedora. CentOS was the previous version of Rocky. CentOS was stand for Community Enterprise Edition of operating system. But in this video, I'm covering a lot of, in this YouTube channel, I'm covering a lot of videos, thousands of videos I have, which are very helpful for those of you or those of us that are in programming or operating system or development or learning senior or junior intermediate level operating system, as well as system administration, system analysis, or tech support, anything, it will be helping you, especially if you're going to computer science major and taking some of these courses at college. I taught some of these courses at Pasadena City College, at National University, at Cal State Fullerton, at Computer Learning Center. So a lot of the places tutor a lot of students at college. When I was doing Bachelor of Science and Master of Science at that time, so I have been mentoring a lot of people everywhere I work in helping the community, and I want you to just learn these stuff so you can pass on the knowledge and help out those of us that are in need, and we can help them out. It would be nice that we can help all in our communities. So there's a lot of videos here. You can see that on every platform. And if you're looking for documentation on my website, on MyWebUniversity.com, I have been pointing out that I wrote some Python program that generated PDF files that are automatically generating Linux Red Hat, Linux Ubuntu, Linux Rocky, and then also C, C++, and a lot of header files and a lot of HTML files and a lot of PDF files, maybe more than 32,000. The video that I'm going to cover today is about chapter 4 of my book, which is all online. This book is called The Direct Path to Linux Ubuntu. I have been covering some of them. Previously, I covered chapter 2 and chapter 3, and some of them were even including chapter 4. I have about some videos that you can watch, and as well as practice these commands online. Some of them are like documentation that you can read it like a book. You can just go, or just go to this video and watch them. For each row, I made a video for you, so you can learn it and understand it. And if you're on chapter 3, for example, which I made that video, you could learn all of these ones online, as well as practice them one command at a time, running like df-h, and then it ran the command dynamically on my cloud and give you on the browser output. You don't have to install Linux, or you don't have to run commands the way you normally don't. So if you're looking for manual pages, is there. If you're just reading something that requires permission or security, I wrote it in a nice table for you that I explain everything. You mask all the octet numbers, conversion, everything. So in a nice way, so you can understand it as if you're reading a book for free online. And then if you're just saying that, well, that is nice. What if I just am looking for something other than just manual pages? Maybe you're looking for a GCC compiler or C++. You have thousands of PDF files. Each one of them you click in here, you will get the documentation for it. So in PDF format. This is, you have to be logged on a machine, but you're only using a browser. All you need is internet access and the desire to learn. And then you could come even on chapter 13 here, on the chapter 13, for example, the PDF. I have to reformat these ones. Actually, chapter 12 is the one that I was going to show you. On chapter 12, for example, if you say, what about Java, for example, can I get documentation on Java? And PDF, yes, you can just come in and read the Java compiler, everything. Similarly for Python, similarly for Node.js, similarly for Go language. Any of those ones that you come in, I have created this one. Similarly for Docker. So you just come in one place and then you find all kind of documentation. But the topic of tonight I'm going to cover is just that when you go on my website, MyWebUniversity.com, and you say, let's go to the book, the chapter 14 is the topic of tonight, which is Linux, Ubuntu, BASH, and Microsoft PowerShell integration. And the command that is called PWSH, which is PowerShell. And then that one basically is an integration of the two. So I put this PDF file for you to show you that before integration, as I mentioned on the PowerPoint, and this is a PDF file version of it, that these two were just saying that Bash versus PowerShell. But there's no more versus, it's all integration. So let me show you how to install the packages from Microsoft repository so you can just have them integrated. In this documentation PDF file, I just explained that Ubuntu Advanced Package Toolkit, APT, which is in lowercase APT when you're on the system, called apt install apt-get, all of those packages, or allowing you to install any package that is on the repository that you're downloading it from the internet or from the Ubuntu repository, and you're going to get that one and then you install it. So this one is the package that we want to do it for Microsoft. It's called https packages.microsoft.com. That's their package for Microsoft repository. And then the prerequisite is that you have to have a system Ubuntu Linux machine, and you have to update it, the latest and greatest update you have to apply. So in this case, I did sudo su dash, and then I type in id-un, I become root. Now I have become root. I run the apt-get update. This will update my system with all the latest packages. Then I do sudo apt install -y, meaning yes, and then wget is going to get this package from internet, which is these two. One is apt transport HTTPS, the other one is software-repositories-common. Then I get that one, then I have to source my etc OS release. Notice the syntax of these ones. When you source it, then it's going to set up that you can do that wget -q in quiet mode, and wget is going to get this package, which is a Debian this from $version_ID, whatever that one translate on Ubuntu, at that time it's going to just find out the right package, and then it's going to allow you to run that Debian package. Debian package -i install package, Microsoft-prot and Debian. So you do this one, this will allow you to just install, this -i means install. This Debian package will be installed on the system. Then you remove the Debian RPM or package, not the RPM, the Debian package that you downloaded. So you remove it, you don't need it because we can always do a wget on it. But once you install it, it's already on your system. So at this time, you can do another get update to make sure your repository is up to date from Microsoft. Then install Microsoft PowerShell. By doing apt-get or apt-install, whether you do apt-get or apt-install-y, meaning yes, don't prompt me. Install PowerShell, you just install PowerShell. At this time, you can run it as PWSH, and to run it as a regular user with a profile that you have logged on, or become root like you did sudo. You were at the pound prompt, which is your sudo is already on, and then you can run PowerShell, so you can run it as with administrative privilege, like you do open it on command prompts. So for example, if I just go here on a command prompt here on Windows, I could type in PowerShell, and now I'm just on the PowerShell. So if I say get -command, for example, command, then you can get all the commands. And if I just say get -command dash type and just say, show me aliases, it will only show aliases. Similarly, for other ones, I'm not going to run each of those commands, but if I just say, click here, normally by default, it's like a terminal that is PowerShell. I don't have to go here. I can exit out of this one. I could be on DOS prompt, and this is DOS commands, right? Windows operating system. But this PowerShell is that if I just make it a little bit bigger because too small, then I can resize this screen also a little bit, and now you can see the PowerShell. So if I say get dash host, you can see that it says name is console, and then console host, and then version is 5.1. This is the host. So this is how you know what version of PowerShell you're running on Windows platform. So if I just close this information and close this one, I can also open a terminal here by typing terminal, and that automatically drop me to Windows. So imagine this is just a Windows operating system. At this time, if I run a df-h command, it's not going to understand that one because that's a Linux command. But if I do a clear command, it's on both of them, it's allowed. If I do, for example, a list command, both of them are allowed. A PS command, both of them are allowed. The dir command is allowed. So some of the commands that there's aliases for them. You see all these aliases. If I do a pipe more, this is the list of all aliases. So if whatever I have, like get child item, that it will be equivalent to directory. So if I say dir get child item alias, or get alias ls, or alias dir, all three of them are pointing to the get child item. But imagine that you could get on the Linux machine, you could run the PowerShell command, or you could get into a Linux machine, start PowerShell, and then run integration of PowerShell and BASH scripting together. That's the video that I'm going to show you next. And you should be very, very happy for this integration. It is going to be in the market for a while, and then a lot of the developers are embracing it, and then including myself, I really like it. So whenever we code, it's should be that you don't say, well, which operating system I am. You just want to work with the application. You want to work with utilities, programs, database, networking software, security software, and they all could work on the same platform. It should be transparent to the user, operating system agnostic, and then application agnostic, and database agnostic. That is the powerful automation, and that's which I'm going to show you next. So imagine on this one, if I'm closing this one and I go here and then open on Windows IC, which is a PowerShell integrated system environment, or integrated system environment. So this one, if I go, I'm sorry, standard environment, or whatever is the S stand for, don't recall it at the moment. I think it is an integrated standard environment. But let's say at this time you could run the command, same thing like get dash host. Notice I could type in uppercase or lowercase, and it's going to run that command with this, and it's going to give me the version of the operating system, and then the Windows PowerShell integrated standard environment host. So all that information is coming, and if I just type in a lowercase get host, it's a verb followed by a noun. It is still going to show the same thing. So it's not case sensitive in terms of the commands that you could do. But what I'm going to do is minimize this window and open a bash window. So let's get to a bash window. I have already logged on to my Linux server, so I'm going to just open this bash script, and I'm going to maximize this window. Now notice that it shows that Wahid is the user UN. I'm gonna make this screen a little bit bigger. I think the font is a little bit small, but maybe it is good enough for the size of it. Maybe I could just go on the setting here and then change the properties. and make the font a little bit bigger. So let me just go to 16. I think 16 might be better. Yeah, that's good enough. So now if I just say host name, you can see it's my web tutorial, and then the way I did that prompt is $PS1, $sign PS1, sorry. $PS1 is pointing to the user is Wahid and /u, and then at, and then host name is MyWebUniversity here, and then /w is my working directory. So that is that, and I could just say, what about which PowerShell? You can see that PowerShell is installed. So I say, what is that one? Type slash, and let's do a PowerShell to see what it shows. It says PowerShell as user bin PowerShell. So I say, what is file user bin PowerShell? It tells me that there's a symbolic link to OPT Microsoft PowerShell 7 PWD. So there's a command called read a link. I could say read link user bin PowerShell, and it tells me the path of the where it is pointing to. So you can run the read link, or you could just say ls-ld and then user bin PowerShell. That would show that this is symbolic link, and this is L, meaning that it's a symbolic link. This other 9-digit read write execute for the honor, for the group, for others when it's symbolic link, they're all 777 read write execute for all. So now if I just say which PowerShell it is there, where is PowerShell, you can see that these are the files. But in order to say that that's a executable, symbolic link to that executable, I say a file, and then just paste this information here. Say, show me that one, what it is, and you can see it's an executable link format, 64-bit. Notice all the LD library and everything. If you want more detail for that one, you can do a LDD on it. And then, so you can see all the loaders and symbolic link shared object files, not symbolic link, shared object files that are included on this one. There's a lot more to each one of those ones, but at this time, I'm going to just say pwd.sh, and that is going to drop me to a PowerShell interpreter. Notice that they say that a new version of stable is available, version 7.4.2. And if I want to install it, I could have to upgrade it to that one. But this video, I'm going to show you the current version that I've already installed. If you want to just go ahead and do that one, and at the time of installation, at the package that you did let me just go back to the Chrome on this one. When you do the package right here, sudo the wget, the latest Debian package that is getting installed at the time, that will determine what version you're installing it, because this Debian version is at the time of download will get updated. So I could do that same thing again, and I'll get the 7.4, but I don't need to. I'm going to just concentrate on the power of the two integration, because this way I can teach you Bash as well as PowerShell. So imagine on this one, I'm here on a Linux machine. If I say uname -a, you can see I'm on a Linux at MyWebUniversity. And if I say cat etc os-release, it's going to show that I'm on a Linux Ubuntu. But at the same time, I could say host name, and then I get this one, and I say get-host, and that would give me PowerShell, saying that I'm on a PowerShell version 7.4.1. And the documentation, when I got out, let's say I get out, and here I say exit, and then exit, and then clear my screen. I say PowerShell. Notice it's telling me that the 7.4.2 is there. So if I say, what is my version, get host, you can see it is saying 7.4.1 is there. I could upgrade it to 7.4.2. But for the sake of installation and everything, we have already done that one. I'm not gonna go through that step again, because I wanna just teach you PowerShell, and then also integration with BASH. So imagine if I run the calendar command here, I could do type calendar, that's a Linux command. If I do ls, it's gonna be a run the Linux command, right? Hostname ls -l. I could run top command, get into top, and then if I just have htop, I could run htop. Any command that I'm running on df -h, and then say, let's say df dash h, and then say measure. Measure is integration of, this is df dash h is a Linux command, and then measure says how many lines are there. So I could say by measure, and then it's gonna just count the number of lines here. Count is 8. So if I was not having PowerShell, I had to do word count -l here, and that would show this. And if I wanted to use that measure, I could only get one line and had to do dash line here. So at the same time, if I just say clear my screen and I say ls, and then I could see all those files here. So let's say I go to a particular directory, I could go, or just say let's just list -l programs, and then press the tab dot tar. So I could do that one and say, okay, that's the file. What if I just want to do something with that one with Linux? So I could say, let's just say, show me only awk, and then say print $. So at this time I say this is $1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So $9 is still the file name. I could get the file name. And $1 would be the read write execute information, and $2 would be the owner. So if I want the owner root and the group root, then I say comma 2 and 3. Notice that when you do that one, and actually I needed another $, and that would say one is $, right here, the file where I listed for the name, right here. This one was the number of links to it. So I meant to say $3 and $4, that would be honor and group. And that way you can do that one. And if you want the size of it, that will be $5. And so that is the $5. So it does not matter what command I use, but about what I'm going to show you here. If I say df-h and I say, okay, do this one and do a word count -l. And now change that one to a PowerShell command, say measure dash line. That is going to tell you a little bit different in terms of parameter, but notice that word count -l and measure are two different commands, yet on one of them I'm using PowerShell command with Linux command, and the other one is Linux with Linux. The first one is Linux with Linux. The second one is df-h, measure is PowerShell. So what if I just do something like get-host, and then I say, okay, this is all that command here, get-host, and then I say, this one give me get-host, that's going to give me that. Then I say, how many lines is it there? Measure dash line. And notice it says that it's one line. Why is it saying one line when it is more than one line? So, and the line that is coming here, if I do a word count -l, and that so it shows 12 line, which is accurate. But the measure and dash line, it did not calculate it because somehow the information that I got, it looks like only get for one of them. So if I just don't do the measure dash line and I get all of them, then it still says the count is 1. And that's not accurate. But apparently it looks like it is getting get host only for the name or one of the lines there. So I'm going to clear here. I say get dash commands. Get dash command. Let's say at this time, if I just type in get dash command, it's going to give me all this information, right? But if I want to say clear screen, get dash command, I want to say dash type. What type of command I want to get. Dash type, let's say I want to get aliases. Then you can see all the aliases here. And then at this time, I could say, What if I'm looking for the alias called type, which is get content, right? And the actual command is type, which is Windows like cat command, type command, and then type is on Windows, and Linux is cat command. But type or more is also on PowerShell get content. So at this time, if I say do this one, but only for the type, alias type, and then this picked up only that line. But what if I just want to do the same thing and integrate this command, and the alias is giving me all this list, and then I say, how about I do a grep minus I type. So notice that I could get that command with this combination, sorry, this combination or that command with this combination. I still get the information by integrated PowerShell command with the grep command, which is a Linux command. So there's a lot of commands that are very, like thousands of commands. Look at this get command. If I just type in without any argument, it's so many of them, right? So let's say get command here. You see it so fast. But if I just do this one and say, okay, how about measure it? And then I say measure to see how many are there. That's 293 commands. And then I say, how about I say type dash type is function. So now it's 40 of them, and then I say dash type application. So that's 4,784. But if I just say don't count it, look at this, it's that many application. So all the binaries that are like getting installed on the exact files on the Windows machine, whether it's ZSH on the shell or some kind of like a calculator on Windows or Notepad or something, all these binaries or binaries that are on Linux side. You can see the name of user bin or slash bin. These are 4,000 something that was there. So how do you know the number? Let me show you another thing that's cool here to notice. So notice this one, I did this one, say type application, I say measure it, and I'm gonna say dash line, just to show me line numbers, how many of them are there. It shows 4,784. But notice that native code of measure of command line that I wrote with dash line, and now I'm just gonna change it to a word count minus L. This word count minus L is gonna run much longer than the measure command. In terms of performance, you can see that because one is the native code, the measure just right away give you output. The other one is doing Windows dash, WC dash L. When I say which WC, that's a binary on the Linux side, file user bin WC or check some user bin WC. You can see all the things like SHA-1 and some user bin WC. All of these ones, you know that those files are Linux platform. And when I did a executable, it tells you a 64-bit executable when I did a file on them. So this one was much faster. Look at how much time one versus the other one. This is going to be slow. And then you can see how slow that one comes in. Well, and the number is a little bit off because the total and the spaces that are counted. Here, if I do this one with measure, look how fast that one responds right away, right? So then you can also do a clear screen here and do this one. Instead of doing this way, you could do, say, run the time command, timex, or the time command, and then, time is showing a nanosecond. It was really fast, but the output is not right. So let me see timex. I could do it or not. Timex is not recognized, so time was correct, but the execution time was because this argument I could say should run this one in a let's see if I could run a backtick on this one up to this point to say, yeah, that would not understand that one because it's time exile, it has to be time. And time is going to say command exited with a non-zero. So it found an error. You cannot do a combination of these two. I have to do it up to here maybe. Let's do that one with backtick here. And then, yeah, but that command will not execute that way. So if I exit out of this one, and then I say, exit out of this one and say clear screen and say, what I want to do is git command obviously is not going to work, but if I say ps minus EFA, sorry, clear screen ps minus EFA, this would give me a big number, but then I say show me a word count on that one, word count minus L 303 of them. Then I say run to PowerShell, and now say run the ps minus EFA of Linux and do a word count inside here, 303, and then change this WQ to measure and see if minus a line to see if it is fast. And you see that both of them are fast, whether you do the PS minus EFA. But since a PS is, if I say which PS, since PS is a Linux command, and then what I mean is that I could do a get dash process. Get dash process on PowerShell is pointing to the same thing as PS, because the alias PS is pointing to alias PS, and then it's pointing to that one. So if I just type in PS by itself, it's actually running the Linux this. If I come back here on the Windows and then run PowerShell here, PowerShell here, and then say alias PS, and you see this PS is pointing to the get dash process. So you have to be careful when sometimes you meant to type in a PS for Linux. If you type in this PS, this is running the PS. But if you meant to say get dash process, that on Windows, you type in the PS, it's going to just run the get dash process because the alias PS is pointing to the get dash process. But there's no alias. Notice that when I did alias PS, there's no alias on the PowerShell. So at this time, I have to say get dash process, and then that would run my processes. And if I just do a measure on them, measure dash line, it will be the same thing as the other one. But notice instead of 303, at this time it's 301 processes. So at this time, if I clear a screen and say get dash services, get dash service, let's see, there's no service on Linux. So here it's all daemons that we're running systemd. So that get dash service will not work on this PowerShell. What you want to do is something like this. On Windows, you could say get dash service. It will just show you all the services. At the same time, on Linux, you have other commands to get the processes and daemons and other ones. So like for example, systemd is one of the daemon that I'm looking at. So I could say top minus u root will run all the processes for root, which are including systemd and other ones. But if I just say top minus p process one, that will give me systemd. Any process like sshd, for example, clear screen, ps minus ef, grep minus I, ssh, you can run that one. lsof minus I minus p, and then process 1405, you can see that that process is for sshd, the current working directory, and so on. So if I say pwdx of 1405, that would be the excuse me. In this one, I have to do sudo because permission denied, and then I type in my permission that I have. So I could run it, and you can see that process 1405 started from root in there. And if I say show me the PWDX of, not PWDX, let me say, I could say, run the P3 on this, PS3, and then 1405. That would just show you the SSH started and then invoked bash, and bash invoked PWDSS and all of that. So then I say, yeah, that's great. How about finding the process numbers? Then you can get all the process numbers. Because I'm doing it with sudo, I can get that access. Otherwise, it will say permission denied. So if I just do the same thing with -T for thread numbers, then I get the thread numbers also. Notice the .NET stuff that are coming from PowerShell. And so when PowerShell was invoked, it invoked this child process with sudo, and then now it's doing this. If I exit out of this one and then clear screen and say ID-UN, I'm regular user. So whenever I go here, PWD search, I can only execute commands that are there. So if I say user ben add user, that's going to say you're not allowed to do that one. It's not recognized or not allowed to run the command. And then if I just say minus user, say Wahid123, it doesn't matter. It's going to say that command is not recognized. But if I say which, it's actually user add, not add user. So if I just change that command, say, yeah, I know it's user add, but because even user add is not the right command, user add, and then type in Wahid123 or something, and it's gonna say the term is not recognized. So let me just clear the screen, say which user add. And notice the command is user add, so I could say user add Wahid123, then it's going to say permission denied because I'm not allowed to do that one. But if I have the permission, I say go ahead and run it with sudo user add, and then now and that user add is added. So if I say grep -I Wahid from etc Wahid 123 from etc password, etc shadow, and etc group, because I have sudo access. I have not put sudo access, but the etc shadow was saying permission denied. The other two files were able to see it. So if I say sudo here, it says that the root password does not have a password yet because it's this bank. That means I can assign a password and then use it. But I'm going to remove this user. I don't want to just assign root or anything. I just prove it to you that without sudo, I cannot run certain commands. So I'm going to do a user del Wahid123 is going to say permission denied. So why is it saying permission denied? I'm going to add sudo, and it's going to be because I previously created the user. And now if I do the same thing with the grep command, this one is not going to return anything because I just deleted it without creating any files in the etc home directory. So notice that that's not there. But if I just want to repeat that step, and I want to just not type sudo on every command that I do, I type in sudo su dash here. Now I'm root. ID-UN, see it's root. ID-group name is also root. So if I run PowerShell here, PowerShell, and then I say user add Wahid123, it's just added. Grep -I Wahid etc password etc shadow etc group. I don't need to get into PowerShell to do this stuff, but what I could do is say look for only user Wahid123 or something, and it's going to tell me that exists there. So then I say since I'm root, ID-UN shows that I'm root, I could say user del Wahid12, whatever's the user that I did, 123, I think it is there. So I have to put 123. And so now it's gone, and then that earlier command that I did here is not going to return anything. So that's another way that you could do. Other commands, you could still do it, and then you could say cat etc os dash release, and then notice word count dash word, number of words that you can count, or dash number of line that you count, or dash number of characters that you count. Similarly, if I just do this one with the cat command, the cat command is similar to the cat concatenation of Linux. But on this case, if I just type in here, say which cat, you can see it is using file user bin cat, which is a Linux command. The PowerShell command cat also is there. So if I say get dash alias, notice here cat is not pointing anything. On the Windows command, if you just go on the Windows and then say get dash I'm sorry, alias cat, you can see as pointing the get content. So that is something that you can do within PowerShell, whether you do it on the integrated environment or inside the command line, the same thing. Alias cat will show that it is there. So any file that you have, you can cat it. For example, directory store.txt, cat, for example, ver.txt, it will just do it. Type ver.txt will also do it. And then those are the one alias type. You can see it's setting to the get content. Alias cat is setting to that one. So if I just exit out of this one, I'm going to prove it to you that the cat command that you did here, word count with the character or line number or line number or word number of words. If you don't do anything, just give it by default. It shows you the line numbers, the number of words, and then the number of characters followed it. Similarly, if I change this one to measure, it is going to, and I don't specify any of them, it shows you the number of counts. But if I just say, I didn't mean similarly, I mean similarly you can get the count. So if you do a minus L, it is going to say the number of count. If you say minus a word, and then it's going to tell you the word, and minus C for characters, you could do it. Or you could say character, the whole thing, dash character. So that, sorry, let me character, I mistyped it because I couldn't see the whole word, and then now I type it correctly, it shows that. Whether you type it dash C or and so the nice thing about PowerShell, when you say this dash and then you put tab, notice that all the parameters that are available for you, it shows that those options are there. If you just do tab, each time you do a tab, you can get information from there. And if you're on the integrated environment, obviously the nice thing about, let me just go here out and then say integrated standard environment, ISE. So the PowerShell integrated here, when you say measure, let me just do a dir star.txt, and you say a cat, let's say t.txt, it will show the content of it. And if you say measure, and then by itself, it sees one line on that file. Let's look at a file that is a little bit more. So type help.txt is a lot more, right? So at this time, if I just say, let's say measure, it will just say 98 lines. But if I just want to see the number of lines here, notice I could type in a line, and then if I do a dash, then this a list of property comes in. Whichever one I want, I could just type it in, or I could just say dash word and select that one, and then it will do that one. So I'm going to exit out of this one. I don't need it. This one, I'm going to show you more on the PowerShell commands. So imagine if you do something like git dash process, it shows all the processes that are there. And you say, what about the, let's say, sorry, clear screen, get dash help, and then say, you can say, for example, for each statement with more. You can see that example with for each loop. At the same time, if you just run a command that is Linux, for example, you could say, what about the for statement in Linux? You say man for statement, right, like that. You could get the man for it is not showing manual page. So man is also, unfortunately, this alias man is pointing to at some point. If I exit out of this one, and then let's see if I exit out of this and say man for, there's no for manual pages. But man while statement might have it, and it is not even there. So let's see, all of this is because they're a type of for, they're a part of the keywords. So anything that is a keyword, it is in the bash interpreter itself. So type of PWD, there are not actual manual pages for it. So when you say where is PWD, it does not say a manual page for it, even though PWD has that one, but for the for maybe it's not. Yeah, for does not have a user share manual pages. Similarly, while doesn't have it. Where are they? They are in bash. So man bash, when you do it and then search for there's for loop and while loop and all of that one, or somewhere here. You can just search it until you see the for loop statement. The syntax is all of that one or there. But because I have done it so many times, I know the type of syntax, I could just do it here. Say, for example, here I say for num and dollar sign. Let's say not dollar sign, I'm going to say for num and let's say braces and say 1 to 10, something like that. Dot means that up to 10, the range of 10. And then let's do a do statement and say echo, let's say in this case, not printf statement. I could do printf statement if I want to, but let's do printf statement. Printf, and we say the percentage dollar sign num. So dollar sign num is the string, and then I say, for example, hello world, and then I just do that one, and then at the same time I say done. So notice that because I use printf statement without a new line characters, all of them were concatenated next to each other horizontally. But if I change that one here and I say every time you do this one, put it on a new line character, then it's going to print it. So all I needed to do is this new line character to just print them on this. But then I say, well, that's nice. Can I just run a utility called laugh out loud after I do this one? So it will show in colors and say, yes, laugh out loud cat. And then just notice it. It's so cool. The scripting, you could just do all of a sudden on the fly. And if you want to do it with more than that one, what if I just, instead of this one, I could say, and instead of this one, use the sequence of 10 numbers. You could do this syntax also, will do the same thing. And if you say, let's start with 10, maybe move to 50 and then divide differences too, that will not work, but I'm going to make this one a line number 1, start at 10 and stop at 20. So then it says start at 10 and stop at 20. So any number that you put here will be the range of it. Let's say you want to do the even numbers, 10, 12, and 20, you just do that one, increment it. And if you want to do it odd numbers, obviously you just put odd numbers there and then change it there. But that's not the topic that we're discussing of this. So I'm going to go here and say, okay, can I do the same thing inside PowerShell? I could say PowerShell, and then I say, let's do the for statement and say for num, and actually, no, let's not do inside this. Let's see if we can do Python scripting with bash scripting and everything together. So I'm going to say Python -- version here. and we say that I'm running Python. So I can get into the Python interpreter and say, do a for num and range. Python uses this range function. So the argument that you pass in the range is a little bit different. If you have to say start with 10 and then increment it to 50 and then step 2. And then you can say print, and then at this time I'm going to say print statement, but I'm going to do the F string, and then I'm going to say $num, and then I say hello world. And then at this time, laugh out loud is not recognized as a statement inside Python, but I could have done that one within Python OS or a system function calls. So I'm going to do this, and then at the same time say, put a new line character for each one of them, and then close it, and then close this one, and then just run it. You can see that it ran between those numbers and $48. I didn't know why I put the $, so I'm gonna do a import OS and then OS dot system. I'm gonna clear my screen, clear screen. So notice that you can be inside Python, inside Bash, inside PowerShell. Each one of them you can run the same commands. It is all allowed to do this one. Even though I'm inside Python, but Python is inside PowerShell. You normally don't want to do this one, but from time to time you want to test your scripts. This is a neat way to understand the concept. So if I go here and then just go to the up arrow and then do this one, print statement, and notice that the one that I did hello here, at this time, I don't need this $, because $, was just putting a $, in front of the number when I meant to do something different. So if I clear again the system and then run this command, like for statement here, and then here the command that we want to complete, I'm going to put colon here, and then I don't need to put a new line character because that's good enough to just point it to start from 10 all the way to 48, the even numbers. And if I wanted odd numbers, obviously change the 2 to 1, it will go 10, 11, and then all that increment by 1. But it will include odd and even. And then if you want module, the different, let's just do it. And I have to explain what I mean. For now and range, you can just do it on the range, even to do it. Let's do a comprehension, list comprehension I'm going to do. So you could say x is equal, and then you could say x for x in range of 10, 50, 2. This will just print the range of all the x would be even numbers, right? But if I wanted the odd numbers, and the odd numbers for this one, I could say this one would be like 3, increment by 3. That would be x would be 10, then increment by 3. That's not odd number. Let's say I want to do the same one with increment of 1. It will be all of the odd and even numbers. You can see 10, 11, all the way to 49. But if I wanted only the odd numbers, then if I say fx module 2, module 2 is not equal 0, meaning that it's not even, then you get the odd numbers. Similarly, if you say this one is equal 0, equal 0, then you get all the even numbers. So those kind of list options are there. I'm going to exit out of Python. Now I'm back on PowerShell. If I want to use the PowerShell command along with the list of other commands, let's see if we could do something like for statement. I'm going to say, clear screen first. Okay, OS, I'm on side of this, and I still am on side of Python. So I'm gonna exit out of Python, I'm gonna clear a screen. I say host name, and then get dash host. It's gonna get this one, say host name CPL, that's a Linux server commands. The other one is get host, is the version of the PowerShell. So if I say get dash host, that's the version of PowerShell bash and dash dash version, it will tell me that I'm using bash. Now we have been integrating those commands together in a number of ways. I mean, I can run these commands and get dash help, and then say, for example, let's say not this one, let's say get dash command dash type function. So I could say not get help in this case, the type, I could say just show me the get help dash type function. So if I just do this one, it shows me functions. And if I just do this one, say type is commandlet, cmd let, and then I could get all of them, but if I say show me all of them that start with write, and then everything. So you can say, show me everything that'll start with get, and get a star, and then you get that. You don't have to say and just star here, and let's say minus name. You could say the parameter's name, and then say get, and then a star would be also allowing you. Sorry, get name, and then it will do that one, and then so whenever you type in get, like dash name, for example, if you want to say everything that starts with about, whether it's about if statement, about for statement, about while statement, if you want to see dash name start this, but if they're not commandlet, you could say, okay, show me all the commands that type name about. I think I most likely did something with about and dash name about. So dash name, and then I say git command, dash type, commandlet, and then I'm going to just get all the list of commands first. And then you can see if there's anything with about, then I could say, okay, do a grep minus I about. So see if the about is showing. And then I did asterisk, let me just do this one correctly. I'm typing a little bit off. And grep minus I, when you close about, the star is not the one. I'm going to close it like this. And that is not showing here. So I'm going to say get dash help about, and see a star, and then about star. This would show for sure everything that started with about. And notice that some of them are with a get, and then when I'm looking about, let me just say about F statement, for example, about underscore F. And then I'm going to do this one. So this one says that get help could not do about F. So let's see, get dash command about F. So this is the difference between Microsoft version and then the Linux version. Now I'm going to just open the Microsoft integrated standard environment, and then I say get the same thing that you do here, get dash help, and then about underscore F, and it's going to give you the information. But notice that this information, if I do about for statement, is gonna say about while statement, all of those ones and those abouts are there. So get help, and then star about start, it gives me a list of all the commands that start with about. And then you can see that there's a lot of them. If I just do a word count on this, it's sorry, not word count, measure dash line, and it will show the number of things, 5,473 of them. So if you just do clear screen here and then run this command, it says 5,473. But if I just cut and paste this command here on the PowerShell command here, and let me bring this window below that one. I'll type in exactly get dash help and then star about star. That was not giving any output. It did actually. So maybe earlier I was typing something different, minus a major line, and it will tell you that's 108 of them. So the other command, maybe I was typing git command. Yeah, git command does not work on either one about, yeah, I think that was the problem. And instead of get help, I was typing git command. Sorry about that. So even if you type in here, git command, if you just type in instead of this, a git command does not have that about. So git command is not list, and that's why it was not generating it. Get dash command, you have option to just run commands, and dash type is let's say commandlet. You will get all of that one, and if you do a measure on them, you could get that one. Similarly, if this is a function, you could just say function. The type of there is 1003 if you say application. And notice that one with the application here, the difference between Microsoft Windows. So on the application, if I type in more here, all the files are .exact file. Notice these are all .executable file, whether Jupyter Notebook or Notepad or a calculator or some Windows WSL or anything that you're doing. It is xcopy, move command, copy command, all of them are part of the application. So if you're looking for this one in a particular, you say, okay, let's do xcopy .exec, it will show me that one, or copy .exec command will show the if there's one for that one. And then if you say, what about the move .exec, is that there? Yes. If it is not there, it will not show, but it might be just you can do a where object and then selected or other ones. But on the list of tools that you have here, a faster way to do it is just to list them and see which one it is there and which one you're looking for. And then you can do a where object on the type, because each of these ones has a property and say where type or name $ underscore is something like that. So let's see if we can just look at the top of it to see, and then they start with what? They are by name. So the property type is name. You could say where, and then you could just say PowerShell select the statement of $ underscore dot name, like, and then you could just give the name of the command that is like copy, for example, star x copy was the one. So I'm going to say like copy and a star, and then see if this one it will find it. And then it did not list it here because that is not in the process. But at the same time, if I say another one with the where clause, get aliases, you could see, and then I could say get alias W and JB, the one that's there, what we for job. You could do that one, or you could just say where $name dot this object. So let's see if the where object selects it. Where percentage, I mean, this one $ underscore dot name dash like, and then I have to say the WJB. I don't know the name because I'm doing the alias, so I have to say $name dot this is the alias name dot wait, not wait job. So I'm going to say WJB and then run it, and it's not showing that one. Let's do a clear process. I'm going to start dash process and then say start notepad, for example. And then I just started notepad. I'm going to try to stop this one with a where object first on Windows, and then we can do the same thing on Linux. So at this time, I'm going to say get dash process. It will just list all the processes, but I'm going to say get dash process where $, $underscore dot process ID name is ID. I could search it, or the name dash like, and then I say notepad star, notepad star, and then see if that one finds it. Unfortunately, it does not find it. Let me see why. Dash notepad dash like $, where $underscore dot name. Let's see. I'm gonna say where, and instead of this, I'm gonna say process dash name, and then I'm going to just say star notepad star. This is this is a faster way, because the where object, it was not seeing it, but the name is matching with that one. So you could say where name is this one, or PID is there. If there's a parameter called PID, and then you have to put the process ID number, which is in this case is the number 11908, and that also brings it. So you can search it by any of those objects, property IDs. And then here you could say, go ahead and stop dash process, and that will just stop this notepad that's running here. It will just stop it. Similarly, if I just don't want this one, and I say, okay, this is Linux, on this one I could say, let's say run something, and I say, okay, top, and then ampersand. Now I just run the top in background. So if I say ps minus efa grep minus I, and then I say pop, sorry, minus I was done twice, and then now you can see that my grep is there, but the other one is not there. What happened to the other one? I'm not sure why it is not running, because when I spin it off, it should have been there. But let's do another thing. I'm going to open an extern in a background job. So in order to do that one, I'm going to run xming here. And then with xming, I just spin off xming, and I'm going to say inside here, just run the terminal command xterm minus background. I'm going to just give it a background of red, dark red. So I'm going to say 25, 00, and then 00. This is background is dark red, minus foreground. I'm going to say pound FFF, meaning white, and then minus font face is I'm going to say New York for short, and then font size I'm going to say 15, let's say, and then I'm going to say ampersand to background it. So now that spin off xterm, somewhere here I have an xterm running, which I could look for it, but at the same time I could just say, let's check for that process to see if that process is running. So imagine I run the top without this, then you can see that if there was any xterm process, and there's, you see my other top is also here. So that is there, and then xterm is going to come here, but I'm going to say clear screen ps minus efh rep minus I xterm. Notice that xterm is not a spin off for some reason. So if I exit out of this one and say exit out, and then say ps minus efh rep minus I xterm, that command did not spin off. So if I just run the xterm here, you can see that it is not set. My display was not set. That's why when you're on this one, as for some reason, when I start xming, it's supposed to start it and supposed to give me a display, but my display is because I'm root. That was the problem. So whenever you look at echo $ display, you have to be careful, because my display is only exported with this user, which is ID-UN Wahid. So if I say echo $ display here, if I want to do the display as root, I have to XOUT it. So at this time, I just have this one. And if I just run an xterm, not this xterm, this one is spin off xterm session. And it does come up here, xterm by default. And then if I just say Okay, let's close that one and run the extern minus a background dark blue, dark red, and then 0, 0 for blue and green, green and blue, and then foreground. I could write the word white or just type in pound. This I could do all of those and stuff. Minus font font face is New York, minus font size is 15, let's say, and then ampersand. So now that is going to open up a bash extern here at the same time. And then if I just say now kill this one, p kill extern, now that window got closed. Let's just do same command inside PowerShell, shell, and then I say go ahead run this command with extern on the background, and then just open it. Notice that it opened it here, and then I can just come in here and run the calendar command, clear screen command, df-h command. Any command that I do here, I can run. But can I just kill it from here? Yes. I could say pkill extern, and then that process got gone. But if I just say spin it off this time, and instead of dark blue, dark red, I'm gonna make it dark green. So this one just opens a dark green, and then now this dark green is open here, and I say calendar or df-h or whatever I run the command, I could do it, or I could exit out of here. And then if I say, yeah, go ahead, open a blue one, I just change this number to blue for dark red 00, dark green 00, 00, and then blue is there. So now this blue is here. And then at the same time, if I say, well, what about checking the process to see PS minus EFA, grep minus I for extern. Notice there's a process ID for the one that with the blue, dark blue, and then I could just kill this process and say from here I could say and instead of pkill extern, which is easy to do it, I could say kill -9 and then process 121.283. That's the process, and then the extern got closed and there. The grep minus V grep will say that, okay, there's nothing in there. Okay, I hope you like this video. I'm going to exit out of this one, and I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. But the nice thing is that now, as a result of this software, now you have integrated platforms that I just showed you. They all work together. They're best friends, and we all get along. Okay, best of luck, and enjoy your day and enjoy your weekend. Today was Saturday. It's around 11:02 Pacific Standard Time. God bless you all. Take care. Love and peace to the entire nation, everywhere, without discriminating anybody. Everybody should be respecting and taking care of each other. Bye.